Krilla! Welcome to the Norm Hyperbolic Podcast. We're here to talk anime, video games, and movies. I am your host, X. With me is my co-host, Lewis.
Yo, what up, what up? This is your anime brother from another mother. What's up, what's good?
What's going on, bro?
Just chilling, man. Just
Episode 2, bro.
Episode 2, bro. How do you feel?
How do I feel? I feel good. I feel we're learning a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So we're getting a lot better.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure. It's been a whole
The logo's
process.
going to stay on the whole video. That's number one.
I know that kept turning off and on episode 1. So we apologize for that if that kind of like bothered you guys.
No.
But that should be on constantly now. So yeah,
just little
fixing
things. Little things like that.
Learning curves that we're learning casually. But it's been fun. I've been enjoying the whole process, and just coming up with better, newer ideas for the next episode because like we want to gradually like get better at it.
We are. So this is episode 2. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball. We're going to go over our favorite and least favorite moments in the show's history through all 4 sagas or show iterations.
OG of all anime.
We're going to be discussing their watchability for like newcomers or people who don't watch anime or have started watching anime. We're going to be going over the best and worst that the anime has for movies and video games. So we wanted to get into doing, or I wanted to get into doing like time codes. So all these topics that we're going to go through, if you're watching it on YouTube, there will be spots for it. I think if you're doing it on the podcast, we can add that to the podcast, like time codes. So they can skip around. Because, we're going to start with a little bit of the anime and video game news of the week. And then we'll get into the topic.
No, for sure. I know you could definitely do it on YouTube. But I can definitely take a look if something we can do on the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
So go ahead, bro. Hit us up with the news.
All right. So in the news of anime, so Chainsaw Man, in the most recent episode, they censored like a particular kiss that is had between the main character and another character from the manga. And so I have a group chat with my homies, and that scene from the manga is something that they send like all the time, and it's super disgusting. And for readers of the manga, you know which kiss I'm talking about. It's like it's the vomit kiss.
Yeah, the vomit kiss.
So they finally caught up to it in the anime
kiss.
Yes.
It was sweet at first, he was like, because she put his tongue in his mouth, and he liked that.
He's like, hold on, that's not her tongue.
But that she vomited inside his mouth. That shit was gross.
So when it came out on the anime, they censored it. So at least they drew it, but they censored it after the fact.
About it? Do you think it should have been censored? I think it was all right to censor it. I mean, it's
no, for what? Though?
It doesn't take anything away from it. Like,
no, man. Did you see the way it looks in the manga?
Yeah,
it's gross.
It's gross. I mean, I've seen some animes be censored in certain parts where the manga is more.
Yeah, but I've seen anime where it's not censored, and it gets gross, and it's worse than that. Way worse than that.
I know, but I mean, there's a lot of things that have been censored in the past. I don't think it takes away from it. It is gross, but I don't think
it's already
blurring the vomit takes away from the whole show.
No, not the show. It takes away from the scene. It takes away from that moment.
It just takes away from that moment.
Because there's a lot of moments in the manga that
there is a lot of moments that are just out there.
Well, no, that I'm waiting for them to catch up to in the anime, so you can see how beautiful the connections are, like the animation.
Yeah,
and it's like gross. It's like gross beautiful.
Yeah,
just like him turning into the Chainsaw Man. He rips the cord and a freaking chainsaw comes out of his face.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He reminds me of like the Wolverine, where he's a devil, so it doesn't hurt him, but it hurts him, but he just heals from it.
Yeah.
Which is
I think it does. I think it does hurt him. The chainsaw's like popping out his fucking forearms and out of his face. But like you're right, I think it's the healing process and then helps him like deal with that pain.
It's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't care if they censored it, to be honest. I wish they hadn't censored it, but it's not like going to stop me from watching the show.
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world if they did censor it or not.
They fucked up by censoring it, though. I'll tell you that. You missed out.
You missed out on the vomit inside his mouth.
But yeah. So in the realm of video games,
what's up?
they came out with the nominee list for Game of the Year. So I'll just read that to you. Some of these games I have played. Most of them I have not played.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, some of these games sound familiar. I've probably seen a trailer on them.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just been such a long time since I played video games. So I've
been trying, bro. I
probably won't have like the best opinion on some of these games. Like I said, it's just more like I've seen the trailer.
Well, I'm just giving you the list.
But go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So number 1, they have Stray. It's the game about a cat where you're just a cat, and my girl really wants to play this game.
So you're it's like one of those like
no, it's like it's a simulator.
A simulator.
Yeah, a cat simulator basically. It's intense though, is what I saw.
How is it? So you're saying a cat's life is very intense?
A stray cat in the streets? Yeah, a street cat.
Oh, it's a street cat? I thought it was a house cat.
No, like you live in it. It's like Sims, but just from the cat's point of view.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
so you're a street cat.
It's a stray. You're a stray cat.
So you're trying to make it out on the streets.
Yes,
as a cat
with a backpack.
What do you carry in there? What would a cat need in his backpack? A mouse? Cheese?
The cat? No, cats don't eat. Oh yeah, to catch the mouse.
To cat? Yeah, or those little laser light pointers
for himself,
or to like distract other cats.
Yeah, to be the king of cats.
Right? Is that, you know what I mean? Like,
I heard it's a good game. I heard it's real fun and interesting. So,
and that's
I forgot that it came. No, not number 1.
But it's on the top and on their list.
It's just first.
Okay.
This I think they came out. I think the way they have the list is like in the order that they came out, because Stray's been out for a while. I feel like maybe like just earlier this year. They have Xenoblade Chronicle 3, which is a Nintendo game. Those Xenoblade characters are always in.
Oh yeah.
Like Smash Bros.
Yeah, I've seen
like
trailers for these games. Yeah,
I'm confusing that with the Fire Emblem.
Have you played it on the Nintendo?
No. I heard it's good though. I mean, they made it to number 3, but the next one they have is Plague Tale Requiem. That's a game that I haven't seen. I had to look it up for this.
Did you see the trailer for it, or did you see some aspect of it?
Yeah, it says it's a strategy game. You know, a lot of when I'm looking at this list, it does look broad. So that, you have Stray, a game where you're playing as a cat. Xenoblade at number 3 of like some action Nintendo game. This game is a strategy game. Then they have Elden Ring, which is that Dark Souls kind of hard, just super hard story mode action.
Elden Ring. Is it like Skyrim?
No, it's like Dark Souls. It's like Dark Souls or Bloodborne.
So I got you.
It's almost like Sekiro.
Is it an open world, or is it just like
it's kind of like
story based where you
story based
one?
It's open in the fact where you can go anywhere, but it's like a dungeon.
Okay. So yeah, I was thinking like Skyrim, like in a sense, like it's open world and you just venture out.
In a way.
I remember when Skyrim came out though. It was like
that was game of the year for sure.
It was complicated though.
That one game of the year.
Because I remember you got it first and then I got it after you. And I feel like you're so overwhelmed with the amount of options you have. Like, you know how like you have the options of like, which I think one of my thing that I did in Skyrim was I got the chance to become a werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like you can also become a vampire if you wanted to. And there's like a bunch of different dungeons you can explore, a bunch of different quests.
Do you feel like that when you're playing like Grand Theft Auto though?
Are you that type of guy to just stick to the main missions? Or are you the type of guy to divert and try to do some side missions?
I would do the side missions.
So you're that person. Okay. Because I know some dudes, they just want to get the gameplay over with. Just concentrate on the main story.
Yeah. And
then I know some people that love to do the side quests.
Yeah. Well, I try to maximize like the game. Like I try to go, like I'll play the story mode on those fighting games, if they have one.
Yeah.
Just to like play as much of the game as I can. So yeah. Yeah. But I can see where you would get overwhelmed, especially like in Elden Ring or even like Breath of the Wild. Have you played that? Where they kind of just throw you at the world.
But I kind of like Breath of the Wild. It's kind of like,
it's good.
I know it's kind of like where it's open concept and there's a bunch of other stuff like side quests that you can do. Cooking is like a huge one, and
but all that stuff, they don't even teach you how to do any of that stuff. They just kind of throw you at it. Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like either you learn or you can be like me and just go online and just Google some shit.
or watch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Or listen to a podcast where they tell you the secrets.
Exactly.
Breath of the Wild.
Exactly. If you go to this forest and collect this flower and you mix it with this, you can have like eternal health.
So speaking of
the game, super quick.
The next game that they have is Horizon Forbidden West, which is kind of like a Breath of the Wild game. It's the sequel to the first one.
And this one was like a Sony exclusive, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think, yeah. Wasn't this like one of the first games that came out for Sony when the PlayStation 5 came out?
Maybe.
Right? I thought it was.
This
like
is
one
new.
of like
their like launching games.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think so. There's this one, and then the last one they have is God of War Ragnarok, which is something that I have been playing.
Tell me about it, bro.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the last segment.
You want to talk about it? Like, okay,
what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're playing. But
all right,
it's a late entry, but I think maybe deserves to be on this list.
Because it's fairly new.
It's very new.
It's very new. It just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for it to be already on the list,
game of the year
list, game of the year.
Yeah, but it's just because Stray came out in like January or whenever it came out, does it not? If it is like such a good game, or even Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring came out this year.
Some of these games are a little old, but the fact that God of War Ragnarok literally just came 2 weeks ago and it's already
game of the year.
Game of the year.
Nominee at least.
Oh yeah, it's nominees.
No, but it's good. It's good.
All right. Yeah. We can talk about it later. I'm pretty excited because I'm actually planning on getting it. So I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
Yeah. No, it's good. I've been playing it pretty good. And then in the realm of movies.
What's going on with movies, bro?
I know in the last episode, we were talking about, we had made a comment about how anime movies are, they're getting big and everything. But there was an anime movie that beat out a Disney movie. I should have looked up what it was. I don't think it was 101 Dalmatians.
No, it was something Cruel.
Cruel?
Was her?
Did they came out in movie theaters though?
Yeah, they came out.
Cruella.
Cruella.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't called 100. It wasn't called 101.
No, but it's in that world.
Yeah, but the movie was called Cruella de Vil, I think.
So whatever. So that movie.
Yeah, Cruella. So when Cruella came out, I think it was it was Demon Slayer.
Or no, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Was it Jujutsu Kaisen?
That's what we said in the video.
Well, anyway, one of those animes came out.
Right.
Either it was Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer. They came out almost at the same time that Cruella came out in movie theaters. And what I've heard was that the animation movie did way much better in the box office the first week of it premiering than Cruella did, which is a Disney movie.
Right.
So it's just to show you that either Cruella was a suckage movie.
No,
but it was
good.
not. It was not because I've seen it on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I saw it on Disney Plus. It was actually a pretty decent, good movie.
It's really good.
I just think people weren't like really into it at the time because the whole COVID thing too. Like people weren't really going to movie theaters at the time.
Anime fans don't care about COVID.
But yeah, anime fans were like, "Fuck it, bro. We're gonna go watch Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen, whichever two of those movies were out at that time."
Yeah.
But the fact that movie made more money in the first week than a Cruella, again, a Disney movie, is crazy to me. So like I said last time, it just shows you that we're right now in a generation where anime movies are becoming like more appealing to the crowd, to the audience. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's becoming the norm.
Or that anime fans are coming out to watch movies.
Because I don't think it's
you think the same. You think people were like at the movie theaters like, okay, Cruella or Jujutsu Kaisen? Which one do I go? Like your grandfather or your mom and dad went out there and was like, let's watch a movie.
They'll probably watch Cruella because they don't know about this. But but like you said, it's becoming anime is becoming such a norm right now that I feel like a lot of these anime hits are coming out and being openly about it. Like I know that I'm not saying that it's like
spending an afternoon at the movie theater
thing, but I'm just saying like it's an anime in a sense. Like some people were not very expressive about it because it was a point in an age where it was not frowned upon, but it was just weird. Like, oh, you like that? Or it made you look too childish in a way. You know what I mean? So it's something that people didn't really talk about it. But now we're getting to an era where it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to go to the movie theaters and watch it. You're not a weirdo going, with a group of friends. So the fact is to show you that there are a lot of anime heads out there that actually enjoy anime. And they could just be like you
here
don't
on
have
the West Coast.
Yeah.
Here in America.
And you don't have to be like a big anime head and like, oh, I wear anime merch all the time, or I wear shirts and hoodies and I'm constantly like repping something anime related, or I'm that dude that wears the ninja headband when I go out.
Right.
like you could be a casual anime person, like in a sense, like, hey, I still like to wear street clothing, Jordans and this and that, but I still like to read a manga every once in a while. I do enjoy watching an anime once in a while. And I feel like those are the people that you end up seeing in the movie theaters with their girl, like, hey, I really like Demon Slayer. Now, I might not dress like it. I might not look like an anime person, which is something I wanted to talk to you about. Like,
but we should all get along, because when I went to go see the My Hero movie, there were people dressed like
you
Deku
can tell they like these people watch anime. But then there's some people that you could be like, does he like anime? Just because of the way he's dressed or the way he like presents himself, or that the way that person presents themselves, it will make you guess like, are they here to watch anime or are they here to watch some other movie?
Jason Bourne. Is that a Jason Bourne guy?
That's what I'm trying to say. So I just feel like it's just becoming normal now, like a more normal thing to go to the movie theaters with your group of friends to go watch anime.
Well, someplace where it has been more normal is Japan. So in Japan, not last weekend, but 2 weekends ago, on Veterans Day, 11/11, this movie came out. This anime movie that beat Black Panther.
What's the name of the movie?
Shizume no Tanjimari. It's just like I don't want to say typical, but like a standard anime movie that comes out.
So I saw the trailer for it.
The animation looks pretty good.
The animation looks pretty good. I don't know what the story was all about.
I can tell you what the story is about.
Go for it then.
It's this girl who she's just like in her town or whatever. They animate the city and they just show you like her typical day, and then something happens. She gets called to open some door for some mysterious character, and then it just starts opening doors around Japan, and like natural disasters happen, and it's just like she like has to fight to try to not fight, but like adventure to get the doors closed and clean up the mess that she made on accident.
Okay. I got you.
But that movie is very different from Black Panther, so that's what I'm saying. As far as like beating out another movie, like the people in the middle who are deciding what do I watch, who doesn't really know, like, because if you're gonna watch Black Panther, you're gonna watch it. But you're not gonna be like, oh, I have to watch this movie first. I'll watch it next week, or I'll wait for the DVD.
But we're talking about Japan. So like when I think Marvel, I think Marvel is more like a American base.
It is, because it's set in New York and things like that. This is a movie set in Japan.
Superheroes technically is a broad genre for everybody. It is comic books. That's how it started. But I feel like now the movies are more American based. Like it's a USA thing. Marvel is becoming more of a USA thing where, like you said, like a lot of the scenes are based off like New York City and stuff like that. So when you think about Japan, I would presume Japan would be more bigger into anime than they would be into Marvel, because those are two different things. You know what I mean? Like we both like anime. The whole country of Japan, though. Yeah, I feel like the whole country, because even in with our friends who are Korean or Japanese or Chinese, anime still is, like how you said, a very childish to. It's looked at as childish to their parents. Yeah, because it's cartoons. That's the way that generation sees it. Right. So I would think maybe even that Black Panther would beat out an anime movie about some girl closing doors, Kingdom Hearts style, but not around Japan. But like you said, it specifically said it beat it out in Japan. Right. On opening weekend. Different if you would have said like, oh, it would have beat it out in America. Then I would have been more surprised. Yeah, no, but that wouldn't make sense in America, because a lot of like Japan's staple is anime, not Marvel, not superheroes. When it comes to cartoons, if you're talking about animation, if you're talking about like Pixar versus anime, yeah, would you not say anime originated in Tokyo in Japan? Yeah, like that's their main focus over there. They even have theme parks based off One Piece, Naruto. You know what I mean? I might be wrong. I just don't think that anime. They wouldn't, as far do as that like here in the United States. They wouldn't make, like, they have a whole park in Disney World based off an anime. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they won't do that here in America. They'll probably do a whole park based off Captain America versus Dragon Ball. So you think anime is as big as Disney in Japan? Hell yeah. Okay. I would for sure. They have like literally city walks where it's just stores full of different anime. So yeah, I would think that in Japan, anime is a higher like staple than Marvel is. But in the United States, Disney or Disney, yeah. But in the United States, Marvel is where it's created, where it's put together, where the scenes are recorded, like where you feel more familiarized. So that's why I say, like, maybe in Japan it did outbeat Wakanda, but here in the United States, Wakanda was number one, and it was a good movie.
It was. I liked it.
Did you watch it?
I did.
It was a good movie. Yeah, I liked it.
And this movie, Shizume no Tajimari, can't believe I said that pretty good. It didn't come out here in America.
I didn't even hear about it until you mentioned it.
No, it's just one of those movies. Like I just thought it was interesting how we were talking about, anime coming and beating these other movies. Like how long until something like this will beat like our superhero movie of the month?
That'd be crazy for them to drop a Marvel movie and then drop like I don't know, like another Goku movie or something like that, and Goku do better than that Marvel movie.
Yeah, Goku versus Superman, like Superman. It'll happen to be a DC. It'll be a DC movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It'll be some DC movie, and then
did
it'll
you ever
be like
get a chance to watch Black Adam?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for it to.
You didn't see it?
No, not yet. I think it's on streaming.
It's actually pretty good.
I'll check it out.
It's pretty good. I was doubting The Rock because you know how The Rock plays a specific character. Like
he plays a Black Adam kind of character,
but he played it really well, really well actually.
Yeah, The Rock as himself as Black Adam.
So it's yeah. So do you want to?
So that's the news. Let's get into the main topic.
The meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes.
All right. So what we're talking about Dragon Ball today, man.
Dragon Ball.
So.
So you want to take a little drink break real quick before we get into it?
Let me see if I'm thirsty.
Check your computer. Are you thirsty?
It's my computer thirsty. Yeah, we're gonna take a little water break. So we're gonna take a little water break, and then we'll be right back to dive into Dragon Ball. All right, we're back from our water break. Damn, I feel so hydrated. Wish we were sponsored by
water. I mean, this video is brought to you by water.
It is brought to you by water.
Drink your water.
Drink your water. It's good for the body. Stay hydrated. You know what I mean? Especially on these long talks. Gotta make sure our voice sounds pretty good.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, water, for sponsoring us. All right, go ahead, bro.
So Dragon Ball. There's 4 series of Dragon Ball. There's original Dragon Ball, just called Dragon Ball. There's Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and now Dragon Ball Super.
Yes.
So what's your favorite out of those 4? Because they're all very different from each other.
Damn, if I had to pick one,
even Z and Super, I feel like are different. Just in scope.
No, they're all different. They all have like their
strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, yeah, and they all kind of like show a glimpse of each part of Goku's life. Like Dragon Ball is when he was younger, growing up. The Dragon Ball C. It's him like as kind of like a mid-age, not mid-age, but like adult, maybe like mid-20s, early 20s.
Yeah.
And then Dragon Ball Super. Did I skip one? There was another one. GT, right? Well, GT is like
is back into a kid.
Canon?
No, it's not canon.
So then
it's still part of Dragon Ball because
But GT is like more like when he's like old.
Even though he's a kid.
Well, he reverts back into a kid.
I know.
Yeah, but he's already a grandfather in Dragon Ball GT. So technically that's like his elderly age stage of his life. But then like I said, Dragon Ball, you have him when he's young. Dragon Ball C in his like mid early 20s. And then Super, he's probably like in his 30s, kind of reaching that GT level of him becoming, because he's already a grandfather in Super, right?
Yeah.
So he's already getting there. So it's like a stage of his life in each one.
In the last video, we went through the top 25 anime list, and they had Dragon Ball Z
as 24, right?
23
on the list.
Low on the list.
And which I think we argued about it, and I feel deeply that it shouldn't even be that low. It should be.
You said it was your number one.
It should be, yeah. It's my number one in the sense like this is what I grew up with. Like without Dragon Ball, I wouldn't like maybe be into anime the way I am. You know what I mean? Like it's a great anime. But back to the question you were asking, right?
Yeah, which is your favorite?
Which one's my favorite?
It sounds like, is it Z or is it Super? Because for me, I can tell you mine.
I want to say C. I want to say C, and the reason I want to say Dragon Ball C is better, I feel like the story is more richer. Like between him and Vegeta, the whole because you got a lot of arcs in Dragon Ball Z. You know, you got Vegeta, you got Cell. Was Vegeta C, right? Yeah, so you got Vegeta, you got Cell, you got
yes,
the androids. There was just more enrichment into the C. While Super is more like, how much more can we push their power level? How much more? And now it's going to like the unknown, like different universes. So it's like the power scaling is not all there.
I know you have things to say about the power scaling.
Yeah, and which I'll bring up in a little bit later. But if I had to choose between all four of them, it would definitely be C. It was just more consistent, and the story was richer in my opinion. And there was like more, you know, it was more based on Earth and more developing the characters into what they can be in the future. While Super is just more of like, who's the strongest and how can we continue to overpower these characters? How about you though? What's your favorite?
For me, I prefer Dragon Ball, regular Dragon Ball.
You prefer the regular one?
Yeah.
What about it?
I just like the characters. How you talking about like a richer story, a richer chemistry of characters, a richer cast of characters. Would you say that you like Dragon Ball because of the dynamic that he had with Krillin? All the characters. Krillin, I think, you know, Krillin got his respect in that
he definitely did.
Show.
Because he was basically like part to part with Goku.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they were both like
beating him out, but not how he is now.
Oh no.
When it's all about, you know, special moves and transformations.
Yeah.
But Master Roshi, I think he's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Just all the characters, even Yamcha and Bulma. Like those are all like really, really, really good characters.
And I don't know if you ever noticed this, but like
I still like Z though. I do
yeah.
like Z. I just think Dragon Ball, original Dragon Ball is a little bit better.
But have you ever noticed like how perverted and openly it was with the old anime?
I mean, that's
versus how it is now.
That's
like
the artists.
I don't know if you remember.
That's his humor.
I know, but I don't know if you remember. Like, there's an episode in Dragon Ball where he's with Bulma,
right?
And I think they're like in one of Bulma's capsule houses or whatever, and they go to sleep, and Bulma's like sleeping, and Goku kind of like goes between her legs, he's like, huh, that's so weird. Like, and he's like just smacks it. He's like, where is her thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's never seen a girl before.
I know, but like that's the kind of like weird perverted stuff that you would see in old animation.
The joke is that it's perverted, but he's going at it a very innocent way.
Like, yeah, but it's still kind of funny.
It's funny
in a sense.
The whole show's not perverted though, but
I know, but you don't see like that kind of aspect.
No, have you seen?
You think it gets is worse now?
Yeah, have you seen Chainsaw Man?
Yeah, I've seen it.
He's just like that. He's not innocent.
Oh, that's true. He's going with the whole boob thing. Yes. Like he's like,
or he just wants to kiss a girl. And he just, you know,
his ambitions.
It comes from a place of not having, like a place of without. But
yeah,
no,
you're right.
But either way, I do think Z is good. I like Z all the way from the beginning, from Raditz all the way to Oob. You know, that whole, I like it all the way through. But if you're looking for like
what was his biggest, since you like Dragon Ball, what was his biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? What is his biggest problem that he has to overcome?
In Dragon Ball?
Yeah. Who is his biggest nemesis or
That's
villain?
What I'm saying. There was none.
There was none,
It was
right?
like of the week. Like, you know, 1 week he has to help Chi-Chi's father reclaim his throne, and then 1 week he has they're just chasing the Dragon Ball from the Red Ribbon Army.
But they didn't have like a real big villain that he had to fight or train to get stronger.
No.
So Dragon Ball was set up a little bit more different in that sense. Like it was more adventures.
Yeah.
Than actually like, oh, here in this arc we're gonna present them with a new villain, and then that new villain Goku has to fight or find a way to manage to beat him.
Yeah.
So the setup was different on Dragon Ball. Yeah, you're right.
So Dragon Ball Z is more aligned with like the animes that come out now, like My Hero and Demon Slayer and things like that. So if you do like Demon Slayer and you like the action, the animation for Dragon Ball Z isn't always the best, but the fights are really, really good.
That's true.
So Demon Slayer, you won't get Demon Slayer level animation, but you will get intense fights and cool moves and at least in Z. In Z, you definitely get a lot of story with the fights as well. So
Yeah.
Z is up there. In a lot of ways, Z is better than Dragon Ball, but that's just my personal preference. So if you don't want like all the screaming and the yelling and the flash, and you want more characters and more intimate stories, I would go with Dragon Ball.
Okay.
But if you like that high intense action that a lot of animes have, along with really really good story, Dragon Ball Z.
All right.
There's the black sheep, GT that people don't talk about. I didn't really like GT. I remember when it came out, I did like the way it looked. It looked different. And then they had Trunks. Trunks was my favorite character. And they brought him. And then they had Pan.
My favorite was Baby.
Baby?
Yeah.
So they had Baby. They had Omega Shenron.
Uh-huh.
They had some really like cool looking characters.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like too much of the same with not enough. It was like a fusion almost of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So for me, GT wasn't really like all that bad, but it just wasn't. It held me over until we can get some more Dragon Ball. But then they had the movies, which I also do want to get into. So,
do you Well, actually, before we start on the movies, let me ask you, what is your most iconic scene? Your most iconic scene, and it could be any, like you said, in any form: Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, or Dragon Ball GT. To you, what was the most iconic, something that lives in your mind, forever be in your heart, that made you feel like I'm a true, this part right here is what made me a true Dragon Ball Z fan.
The part that made me a true Dragon Ball fan is when Gohan turned into Super Saiyan 2 when he was fighting Cell. Just because like it's like he had like electricity around him. It was like the first time seeing that.
So that's you, that moment, him turning to Super Saiyan 2.
I used to draw that in my notebook from like the manga when we read it. And it came out, and I would just draw it. Like I drew that picture like so many times. Just him like with his hair like to the sky.
I got you.
That was my moment. And then the moment leading after where he did fight Cell and then destroy him with the father son Kamehameha. I thought that was pretty cool, but mainly the transformation for me.
Okay. Interesting, man.
What about you? You have a favorite moment?
Yeah.
Because I don't really have any moments like that with Dragon Ball. It is just all fun. Like I in the last episode, I mentioned the episode or the issue where Krillin's fighting some bad guy, and he smells really bad. So Goku reminds him that he doesn't have a nose, and then he's like, "Oh yeah," and then he beats him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of moments like that in Dragon Ball that are funny, but as far as like where I'm like, wow, like this is like palpable.
My favorite moment that I would say would literally have made me the biggest Dragon Ball fan and will forever live in my memory is the episode or the arc where he fights Frieza and they end up going to planet Namek and Frieza like dominates. You have the what is the gang that Frieza
the Ginyu Force?
The Ginyu Force. Yes. And they just dominate Krillin, they dominate Piccolo, Gohan, like it's just straight murder. And then when Goku arrives and he sees all his friends beating up after he fights Frieza, him going to Super Saiyan, that to me was like the most baddest moment in Dragon Ball history.
Badasses.
That was the baddest moment.
Badass moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember him showing up. Like him showing up to Namek after because like you said, they were getting their ass whooped. All the like Krillin and Gohan and even I think Vegeta and Piccolo were there.
Oh yeah,
getting their ass beat. And then Goku shows up and it's like, thank God.
Thank God. But no, like him turning to Super Saiyan was just
that was a good moment.
It was the best moment. That's to me is an iconic moment when it comes to Dragon Ball. But yeah, so you were asking me about games, right?
Video games.
Go for it.
So we do want to go over like the best and worst, not best and worst, but what video games and movies this anime has to offer. So Dragon Ball, having been out for so long,
they have a lot of games.
So for me, the Budokai games are always real great. Budokai 1, 2, and 3, and then you got Shin Budokai for PSP. You got the Tenkaichi games, which are more like a 3D. They're more in line with like what are those games? I have it here. The Xenoverse games.
Do you like the Xenoverse?
I personally don't like the Xenoverse
I don't
games.
like them either. I tried it, but I bought it for the Nintendo Switch.
I like that you can customize your character and fly around. And I like its story mode type of deal,
like an open world concept, like
like Tenkaichi. But Tenkaichi was still like 1v1.
Yeah,
I just think that they're definitely a lot of fun. But I like games that are more, especially if you're going like, if I was trying to fight you in Xenoverse, it's very unbalanced.
Yeah.
So you can get away with just like sticking to a certain combo or a certain character or whatever, and then always win. But I like games that that's why I like Budokai, because it was kind of a little bit unbalanced, if you pick Goku, but you had more of a chance with certain characters as well. Shin Budokai on the PSP kind of balanced things out. I remember with Tenkaichi, they advertised it that they had 161 characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, that's a crazy amount of characters, because you believe that there's that many characters in Dragon Ball, but they counted every transformation as a character. So Goku, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, those were like 5 different characters. So that was a lot of BS, but I remember those games being a lot of fun. The game of
what is your, I was going to ask you that, like, what is your favorite one though?
My all-time favorite Dragon Ball game would have to be Fighters Z.
Fighters Z?
Yes.
What system did that come out?
That's on PS4. PS4 and Xbox. All right. That's like the most up-to-date Dragon Ball Fighter game.
So that to you was your favorite Dragon Ball Z game? Yeah.
Xenoverse was fun. You have like Dragon Ball Kakarot, which I hear from my friend Fred. He says it's good.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
They're
still releasing DLC for this game.
I know. I don't. Maybe because I played it on the Switch, and I know the Switch is not optimized
for that
to
kind of game.
Run the Xenoverse, so it was kind of laggy.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that was the reason why I didn't like it, but I don't know. I was never digging it, But if you had to ask me what my favorite game was, growing up on the PS2, which no debate was the best console ever.
PS2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it sold the most consoles ever, and it's still number 1 ranked as the most sold out console, the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, but I'm
Did you even have one?
I had a PS2.
They have the best games.
I think things
PS2.
Always get better though.
No, PS2. I feel like you're not agreeing with me, bro. It is the best system ever, and it's undeniable. But anyways, that's just my opinion.
Go ahead.
I feel like people might side with me on this one, but
let us know if you side with Lewis on this one.
But Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 was my favorite, and the reason I say 2 over 1 or 3 was because 2 was where they added the Majin Buu saga.
Yeah.
So the main villain on Budokai 2 was Majin Buu, but that's where they also added the funny quirks of because they had the fusions both ways through the earring and of course
fusion dance.
Yeah, the fusion dance. But I liked how in the game they incorporated that if you fucked up the fusion dance, you would get the fucked up characters that you will also see on the animation or on the manga, which I thought that was so hilarious. And to add more to it, they're like, well, I know what people are like, oh, what would happen if you fuse Goku with Krillin?
Or how would Tien and Yamcha?
Yeah,
that was one that I don't.
And it was added. It was incorporated into the game as extra characters that you can unlock.
Yeah,
and I thought that was cool. So I was in love with that game.
It's definitely a fun game if you're a fan of the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a fun. I would still play it in a sense. Bro, if I can twitch this and I can go against other people, I would murder them. I was a beast when it came to this game.
It's when they brought out or when they came out with the collector edition, like the remaster or whatever, they left this game off. They did just Budokai 1 and 3. They didn't even put Budokai 2 on there.
They're haters, bro. They don't appreciate it like I did. Like I said, it was literally one of my favorite childhood games. Yeah. For the PS2. I loved it. And I loved the gameplay of it. It was really simple, but it was fun and interactive. You can also if Goku hits you with a Kamehameha, you can hit him with a different attack, and then you gotta spin the little analog stick on the controller. Yeah, and whoever gets there first wins. That's what I liked about it. It was just so interactive.
It was a good game.
I was like, yeah, that was my favorite one. How about movie? Tell me about. I know they had a couple of Dragon Ball movies, but which one's your favorite? Not all of them were canon.
So all the ones before Broly are no longer canon.
No.
So Janemba, Android 13.
They
the first Broly. I don't know if it's 13, the blue one.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All that stuff is no longer canon. But I remember I did like those movies when it came out. Like I did like the movie with Janemba where he did the fusion dance. It was the first time we saw Gogeta.
Oh yeah.
Was in that Janemba movie. So I feel like out of those movies, that one was my favorite. But out of the new canon movies, let's just go through them because I like them all and I like them all for different reasons.
Go for it, man.
So they have Battle of Gods. That's when he first fights Beerus and turns Super Saiyan God. That was a really fun. I think even if you don't like Dragon Ball or if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball, one, they give you all of it there in the first like couple scenes. But that is just a feel good movie. Like that's a really good, wholesome movie. I feel like just the way it ends too. It ends very like. Very atypical of like how you have to beat a bad guy.
No, I liked it because they got to introduce Beerus a little bit more and his whole like the way his character is with Whis. But like, oh, man, I feel like something was missing on that show.
Do you
and
prefer
I feel like,
Resurrection F Frieza? Because that movie gives like a good showcase of all the characters and then brings back a character that we kind of like and don't like, or like to don't like.
It's I don't know how to say it. Like it's
for Frieza
or for Beerus. Like Beerus was so overpowered that even when Goku achieved Super Saiyan God, it was still nowhere near Beerus's level. So it kind of felt like it was an unfair fight to begin with. Even with him gaining the God power, it was still, it excited Beerus. Like he felt like, oh, I can bring out a little bit more of my powers out, but not to the point where he's like, I can go all out, because he knows if he went all out, Goku would have been done for.
So is this the start of your issue with the power scales and all that stuff?
Well,
with these movies
with the one with Beerus, I just felt like it was slow. And I just felt like Goku was basically put as it's to show that Goku is not the most powerful character in the whole in the whole Dragon Ball universe.
But he can be. But
I love the only thing I did like about this movie is the fact that he had to struggle. And even with him struggling, he still didn't reach. You know what I mean? He still wasn't there power level to be Beerus at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
They just became friends. That's basically like they just became friends. Like, okay, Goku can't beat him, then I guess he has to do what Naruto does.
Offer him a big cake.
Be friends. Friendship in the end of the day beats it all. That's the real superpower.
Yeah. That's the real Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
The friends we made along the way.
It's friendship.
Then there's Resurrection F. Brings back Frieza, brings back all the characters. The animation on that, I think, is real crisp and beautiful. I've argued that the animation for Broly is not as good as Resurrection F.
But Resurrection F is different from the anime. The story is a little different.
It's a little more, there's not filler, but it's tighter in the movie. But in the anime, they kind of just break it up episodically.
Yeah.
But they do the same thing with Broly, I think.
Yeah, but again, with the one with Frieza, Restoration F. So you know how Frieza comes back to planet Earth. He has his new gold transformation, and even with Goku, because they made Goku and Vegeta look so positive that they were able to beat Frieza because they had the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, right? So they already were like, we have this in the bag, which they did.
Wait till we get there.
which they did. They had it in the bag. Of course, Frieza had to pull out some asshole move and just blow up the planet. He's like, fuck, if I can't win, everybody's dying.
That's classic Frieza.
Exactly, right? So, but it's just I don't know, man. It wasn't like what I want. It was missing something. So like for me to really
spice?
fully enjoy
Cumin?
it, I don't know. It's just missing something. But like if we talk about like my favorite movie, it would definitely be Brawley.
That's the third one.
That's the third one.
Oh no, they also have superhero on here.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I really liked superhero. Did I like it more than Broly? I don't know, man. I definitely liked it more than Resurrection F. But
how about, would you say, okay, I'm gonna just give you like the 4 more recent ones because I feel like, do you want to talk about the old ones?
no, I don't have much to say about them. So
Because they're not canon and they're just kind
they're
of
not
like
canon, but I don't really know too much. I don't remember. I saw them like when
you
they
were
came
little,
out.
yeah.
And,
So I don't- yeah, you're
never,
right, you're right.
never again.
Being honest, I don't remember too much of them. I do remember a couple of like the Broly ones.
Yeah, those are
I do remember one with Cooler, Metal Cooler.
yeah.
So that was dope. But I think that's pretty much the ones that I do remember.
Yeah, but
But
these
let's
4
talk about,
movies
like,
I think
the
are
more
better than
current
any of
ones.
those movies.
Yeah. The animation is way much better
Yeah,
to begin with.
Like
But
the movie still had like a very series style of animation
yeah.
that I didn't really like.
But in Europe, like if I asked you to rank them, so you got Restoration
I don't know.
F, you have God, you have Broly, and then you have Superhero. How would you rank them? What's your first?
There's a scene in Broly that I dislike and I don't like especially with starting with Dragon Ball animation where they go 3D when they go from 2D to 3D. They do it sometimes in Demon Slayer and I do like when that happens, but for the most part, I don't like it when it's in Dragon Ball. It just looks like the video games. Like we've played so many video games. So there's a scene in Broly that I didn't really like gel with, but they also do it in Superhero. So I would have to put Broly at the top, then Superhero, then Battle of Gods, then Resurrection F.
Okay.
And maybe I'm just like hype off Superhero. I just saw it, but there was a lot in that movie that I also didn't like. You know, also Goku and Vegeta weren't even in it. I mean, they're in it and Broly's in it, but they're not really in it.
No,
so that's kind of why I have to put Broly on top. But
yeah, and
even
that's
Battle of Gods was a real good movie. But I did like Superhero a lot.
so rename your list again. I want to see if I can. You said it was Broly.
Superhero, Battle of Gods, Resurrection.
I agree with you. I feel like I definitely agree with you on that list.
Does that-
Broly was my number 1, and then of course Superhero, and then
Battle of Gods and then
Battle of
Resurrection.
Gods. Yeah, I will put Restoration F my last. Being honest,
We don't talk about the other Dragon Ball movie they have, Dragon Ball Evolution, the live action movie.
oh, that's the one nobody ever talks about. The live action one. That's just trash.
It's
man.
trash, man.
It's
fun, but it's
trash.
It's trash.
And I feel like
you can't
that's
watch it by
something-
yourself.
But I feel like that's something we can talk in the future about, like live
Live action?
animation anime.
I'll say it right now. I don't think they should do
Ever? Because
ever.
you know they're
They should
making
never attempt
Luffy
it. I know.
on Netflix.
I'll watch it. I'll
Look,
you know
what?
I won't even say that I'll watch it. That's too much of a commitment.
Let's not get into it. I
Have
feel
you
like
seen the
that's
Cowboy Bebop
I know.
live action? They're gonna
I feel
do
like
that.
we're gonna. This is gonna be the next episode because I know what we're gonna talk about in the next episode. Kind of what you're
brings into
talking
that?
about brings into that, ties
Yeah.
into it. So I don't want to go too much in depth with that,
But
but
Dragon Ball Evolution.
was trash. Nobody talks about it. It's horrible. It was not well made. They used the guy from Need for Speed, the guy that does all the racing movie. It just was not. It was not it. It was just trash. It was like an attempt, and it just flopped. And no, and then like Piccolo was not even made right, like. Because he was the main villain in the evolution was Piccolo, so it was
Superhero.
yeah.
I liked it. So my favorite character, or not my absolute favorite character, but one of my favorite characters is Piccolo.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like he's like kind of underused, and he's not a Super Saiyan or he's not a Saiyan, so he doesn't get a lot of play. But in earlier Dragon Ball, he did, and even in Dragon Ball Z. So I like that them bringing him
Weaker.
back.
And this is what I was trying to say. Like, I feel like as the arc progresses, all these characters are kind of lost in the sauce because of their power not being close to what Vegeta and Goku's power level is. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like, in order to add Piccolo, like you said, your favorite character, into this now super universe that they're creating, he needed that power boost. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Gohan. Not to say that Gohan, I think Gohan would have been able to reach that power.
Do you think he can go Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan?
Yeah,
because
I think he has the potential for it.
Yeah.
But it would have taken him a little bit longer because he would have done like the training to get there. I know with Shamrock, he managed to like, was it Shamrock that was able to boost? No, it was Piccolo's power that he boosted.
Yes.
But it's just to show you that he can't reach that potential because he does have the potential in him. He just doesn't know how to tap into it.
I wanted to talk about the power level. So we did talk about Dragon Ball and, you know, what I like about Dragon Ball and it being like a very adventure and character based story. And we talked about how good Dragon Ball Z is.
Yeah.
You know.
So you want to talk about like the power level or the power scale in Dragon Ball Super?
Yes. So because we also kind of talked a little bit about GT and how it was like just different from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And also the same, but not enough.
So with Dragon Ball Super, the power scale is kind of like everywhere. It's not consistent. And it's just like one moment, one person is weak, and the next couple of episodes, that person is strong.
Through training or
just out of nowhere. Like I want to, like, I'll give an example.
Okay.
And I think I talked to you about this in the past too, about, so you have Goku, right? So Goku is like a staple. So in Super, they're trying to create their super team, which is going to compete against these other universes, right? In the Tournament of Power.
You know, fighting tournament?
Yes. So they have to basically put together a team of all these strong warriors to face off the other universes. So, of course, you automatically have Vegeta. You automatically have Goku. So then they're like, who else can we add? So they added Krillin. They added Master Roshi. They wanted to add Majin Buu, or Fat Buu right now.
Right.
But he didn't make the cut. So they ended up replacing Majin Buu with Frieza. So Frieza made it in. Then you have Piccolo made it in too. And then the last thing to join was Android 16?
17?
17?
The black-haired one?
Yeah. So Android 17. And then, and Gohan, of course. So bam, they have their team. But this is the part that threw me off. So Goku wanted to test everybody's power level, kind of see where they're at that moment. So one of the tests he does is with Android 16, right?
17.
17. I don't know why I keep saying Android 16. Android 17. Now, Android 17 has literally been guarding or protecting an island throughout the whole kind of like saga. That's where he ended up afterwards. So Android 16 ended up having a baby with Krillin, right?
18 had a baby with Krillin.
18 had a baby with Krillin. 17 ended up going to an island and basically like being the island's protector, because I guess it has like wildlife animals there. And I guess in that universe, they would come, or these like people would come to attack these animals to sell them, you know, sell their fur, sell their bones, and blah, blah, blah. So he was like the protector. So when Goku goes and recruits him to the to their team, they fight because Goku wants to see what his power level is at. He goes all the way to Super Saiyan Blue, which is right now his strongest form. My thing is, how is Android 17 able to keep up with him and Super Saiyan Blue? Like, Goku has literally went through the most intense training, and Beerus's planet, or his little home planet that he lives on, with Whis to gain that power. But somehow Android 17, who's literally just been chilling on an island protecting it, probably not training as hard as Goku has been, still manages to keep up with him. Like, that to me doesn't make sense. Like, I get it. Like, they have to be as strong as Goku in order to compete with these other universes.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that doesn't make sense.
How long did he keep up with him though? For just like
a good while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For a good while. The same thing, he tested Gohan and he made Gohan go to his ultimate form. Which again, kind of kept up with Blue, but not so much. Which makes sense because Gohan he hasn't been training. He's been chilling at home, taking care of the baby and doing his work.
I mean, that kind of lines up with GT though, because 17 in GT Super 17 was that strong. So
then where's
he
the
was keeping
cap?
up.
Where's the limit of how strong can Android 17 get? You know what I mean? Like, I know that he has this endless power of energy, but my thing is, so Android 17 has always been this strong? Has he always been Super Saiyan Blue level? Can Android 17 power level go beyond Super Saiyan Blue? That's the question. Like, where is where you can put a cap and be like, okay, this is as far as Android 17 power level is gonna get, or this is as far as Krillin's power level is gonna get. You know what I mean? So like, where's the cap? And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I get it that they were trying to put a team together, and I get it. Like, these are like technically the universe's most strongest people that they can come up with. And even though they might not be as strong as other universes, but like Master Roshi,
But they should be able to keep up though.
well, I mean, they were able to keep up, but you know, other universes do have players that are almost equivalent to Goku, like Jiren. You can't put Master Roshi against Jiren, but somehow they put Android 17 against Jiren, and he held his own.
Yeah.
Same thing with Frieza. You know what I mean? And like, Frieza is a whole topic within itself. Like, how strong can Frieza get? You know what I mean? Can he outbeat Goku? Because from what I'm seeing is that Frieza only has to train for a couple of months, and he's able to gain a whole new form that is either equivalent or close to Goku's forms.
Because he's a different being. He's a different race. That's how his
So
race.
then, like, what does it say that Frieza decides, you know what, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to train for a whole fucking year, and I'm going to achieve my ultimate form.
That's how these shows go.
I know, but like, but what is, so then it's like, where can we start putting a cap of like, how high can these people go? The same thing with Goku.
Does
like,
Goku
now
have a
he
cap?
has, that's the question. Because Goku
So
now
he's the
has
only one
Ultra
with
Instinct.
no cap?
It feels like it. Because like, Goku right now has Ultra Instinct. He was able to tap into Ultra Instinct, which from what I'm seeing, Vegeta can't do.
Well, I heard
But Vegeta has his own form that kind of is either equal or close to Goku's Ultra Instinct form.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, where is the cap? Like, after that, like, there has to be a cap. Like, you can't just be like, okay, on Super Season 2, Krillin comes back with like even stronger powers. Now Krillin can keep up with like Android 17. Like, how is that even possible? Krillin's literally been in the police force, protecting and serving his community.
But what if they just wrote it where he just trained? Where he trained in the hyperbolic time chamber?
I don't think he would reach that level. I think they all have to put a cap on it. Like, Krillin is just not gonna ever be as strong as Gohan.
It's cold-blooded, bro.
You know what I mean? Master Roshi is never gonna be as strong as Gohan. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like Piccolo. Even with Piccolo's upgraded powers, he was still having problem in the movie. He was still struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just to show you, like, even if they're able to draw out Piccolo's full potential, he's still gonna struggle because there's still gonna be people way much stronger than him. You know what I mean? But it's just like that. Like, the power level doesn't add up. Like, I get why they were trying to do with it. Like, they were like, well, we need to make these characters as strong in order to keep up with the power of tournament. But still, like, it's like.
Well, so that brings me to my next question: is with all the inconsistencies and that they have with power scaling and all that, has Dragon Ball fallen off?
That's
because we were talking really highly of. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z,
because Dragon Ball Dragon Ball in all. Mm-hmm. It's OG. It's like an original. You know what I mean? It's like you pay tribute,
but it's still
Dragon
going.
Ball. I know it's still going, and like you said, like there probably is better anime out there with better stories, better animation
that are coming out, like new stories.
Yeah, the new kids in the block.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in Cars. You know, McQueen kind of was dying out because these new race cars were coming in. I don't know if you've seen Cars. Have you seen Cars? Oh man, I have not seen Cars.
I've seen Cars. So Goku is the McQueen of anime
Goku
right now?
is the McQueen. So in a way, I feel like sooner or later he's kind of have to step aside and let these newbies kind of take over. You know what I mean? Like the same thing with One Piece. It's like One Piece is like it's an OG anime because of how old it is. And yes, it's still running and it's probably going to continue to be running. But it's like they have to keep trying to keep it relevant in a sense like, okay, we have to adapt this animation for these newer people that are watching it, this newer generation. You know what I mean? We can't just continue to appeal to the old heads. We got to also appeal to the new heads because they're the ones that are going to continue watching it.
Well, I know. So we've talked about this before, and I guess we do shit on Boruto a lot. But do you think?
Have you ever asked somebody that's young, like, have you ever asked Eli if he likes Boruto?
He doesn't like Boruto.
Because that's kind of like more close to his generation. You get what I'm saying?
We even said it last time that original Naruto was kind of like Boruto. It was kind of slow and there was a lot of filler and it wasn't really a lot going on directly. You know, they were more like building the world.
Yeah.
But is Gohan the original Boruto? Like, should they do, if they're going to drop
if
Dragon
they ever
Ball,
if they ever drop Goku as being the main character,
would they ever follow Gohan?
Follow it with
should
Gohan?
They follow Gohan?
I think they should. That's a good question.
Do you think it would become like Boruto though, or do you think it would become better?
Because they did show that Gohan had potential. There was an arc where it was just about Gohan, you know, being able to beat Cell. Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, Goku was alive. He was just training.
I know he was dead, but still,
King Kami.
They made Gohan like kind of like the main character for a little bit. They made him lead character for a little bit,
right?
In which people were receptive of it. They were like, I like Gohan, and I like where they're pushing him. But then after the next arc after Cell, they kind of just dropped Gohan like he was nothing. Like they built him up. They built up his character up. And then on the next arc, they kind of dropped him off slowly.
But they built him up a little bit with Supreme Kai and he, you know, Ultimate Gohan and him like
and
lifting the sword and all that.
They're gradually building him up. So I'm wondering now, since they made Piccolo and mainly Gohan the main characters of this movie,
right?
Super.
Are they going to branch off into?
Are they telling us that they're kind of like? Because in that movie you barely saw Goku.
You don't. Yeah,
you don't see them.
He might as well be dead training with King Kai.
Okay, so you know how? Okay, listen to this. So you know Vegeta. How they have Goku and Vegeta as like the duo. How would you feel if they paired Gohan with Broly as the new duo?
I mean, Broly is as old as Goku and Vegeta.
I know, but they don't show Broly as much. And Broly's mentality is still childish in a sense because he grew on such a planet that it was more just him and these weird animals or weird, you know, insects that lived there and then he became friends with.
And Gohan's kind of like an intellectual who's reading books.
So like what if like can you see that being like I could see like a pair? Yeah. Just like how Goku and Vegeta are like.
Yeah, and they have like their
own dynamic
strengths. Well, because we were talking about the reason that why Gohan might be stronger than Goku.
Have you ever noticed how with Broly, a lot of his power comes from his emotions? What about Gohan? Where does a lot of his powers come from?
That's Saiyans, though. All Saiyans. That's what we were talking about. Like that's why Gohan has the potential to be stronger than Goku because he's half human, and the Saiyans get their strength from trauma. And because he's half human, he can like go through more trauma as a human.
I understand that, but I feel like with Vegeta and Goku, majority their power comes just from training. They don't really go through a lot of emotional.
But it's triggered. That's when it's triggered. It's triggered through trauma.
I understand, but like I just feel like a lot of the time I've always seen Goku, like the trauma. But for Broly doesn't really do much training,
right?
But a lot of his power comes from his emotional trauma,
right?
And I'm wondering if it would be like the same for Gohan. Can Gohan reach the same power as Broly? Like if Gohan just lived in his emotions, could he be able to release all that power that he has probably just sitting there still?
His new form, where is that on the power scale? You know, is that like, so can Gohan at the end of Superhero, can that version of him keep up with Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan?
That's a good question. They haven't presented that yet. They haven't like.
But what do you think? That's what I'm saying. They just write it. But
I know they just wrote it, and you know, right now we don't have too much to compare to because it's not like we got a chance to see Goku versus Gohan's new super transformation.
Right, but that's some good future.
Oh
like,
yeah, for
future
sure.
ideas.
So
Of them
it's,
fighting.
they have
teaming
a
up
lot
early.
to like build up on now, especially when they're including Gohan, because he is a staple to the whole Dragon Ball. And I know that he was kind of dropped off because he decided to choose the human life
Right.
instead of the Saiyan life. But I feel like he has potential. He has a lot of potential. And Piccolo knows it. Like, Piccolo already knows, like, hey, Gohan is the next Goku. And it's just a matter of when he decides to embrace his Saiyan nature instead of his human nature. Because right now he just wants to chill at home, continue with his research, continue with his job, raising his daughter,
Right.
being a perfect husband. I guess everything that Goku was not.
That's his human side.
Yeah. So, but I feel like sooner or later, like, because I think they're setting up where Goku is gonna leave the
main story.
Earth, that universe,
Yeah.
and travel to different universes to continue getting stronger.
That would be nice then. Not to have him go away, but in a
So
way.
then who's going to be protecting Earth, or who's going to be protecting that universe?
Gohan.
And I feel like Gohan.
Gohan and the Z Fighters, yeah.
Yeah. How about Trunks? They didn't show too much about Trunks.
No, because they don't. It's not future Trunks. It's Trunks.
But this is.
Goten's age.
I know Trunks has so much potential too. Future Trunks, which is the Trunks that's going to turn into future Trunks.
No,
he doesn't,
have
because
to,
future Trunks
had to
is
fight.
Trunks because of all the trauma he had to go through.
Right, with all the androids.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess we're not going to get any more future Trunks, are we?
No, he won't have to come from that future. No, we'll have to deal with the
because
Trunks
they only did it once where he had to fight Black Goku in Super. They did an arc about Black Goku, and then that was it. So I don't know if they're going to bring back future Trunks, but I hope they make present Trunks as strong as future Trunks. But I know they're right now they're like.
Do you give him a sword? Do you give him the sword?
Oh, bro, I missed that. Talking about swords, I love when future Trunks comes to visit Goku for the first time, and they test each other's power level.
He just turns Super Saiyan right away.
Right, they both just turn Super Saiyan right away. No, they don't. He turns Super Saiyan right away. Goku stays in his regular form, but he's able to keep up with future Trunks Super Saiyan form. But I love the sword fight because Goku was like, "Oh, I don't have a sword. I got a finger. Let's go for it."
Really?
Yeah, you didn't see that part?
I don't remember it.
There was just he was like, tap, 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 tap. It was dope. But they should bring back the swords.
Well, that's Dragon Ball. Do you have anything to add before we move on to the next section?
Let me see if there's anything to add. Any other questions? No. I think actually, do you think they are underrating Jamsha?
What is it?
Jamsha.
Jamsha? No. Next question. No. Wolfang Fist.
You don't think he should come up?
Oh, Wolfang Fist.
You don't think he should come up? I feel like they do him dirty really hard.
They do him dirty. He's really good in the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
He's fun and he's funny. And he's strong.
They just do him so dirty. He's like the bottom tier character. Like,
yeah.
The fact that he tried so hard to join the team for Super. He was like, they gotta pick me over Master Roshi. They gotta pick me over Krillin.
I'm like, Krillin beats his ass all the time.
I know. He's really, it just sucks that he's really just the bottom of all tier. Like, it's on the bottom of the list.
He's okay.
Oh, man. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about, Dragon Ball Z?
No.
All right, man.
Let's move on to the next section.
Go for it.
So what we're reading, what we're playing, what we're watching. So Lewis, what you reading, what you playing, what you watching?
All right. So playing, I want to talk about this. I'm not going to take up too much time on this, but I got a PS5. I have it set up in my room. Now there's two games that I've been wanting to get. Of course, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and God of War Ragnarok. So those are the two games I'm trying to get. Now, I want to say it's been such a long time that I've bought games and played video games that maybe I'm a little old and maybe I'm like a little bit not in tune with what's really going on in the video game world.
Probably.
So I forgot that with the PlayStation, you have to get the membership in order to play online, right? Which is obvious. If I want to play Call of Duty, I want to play online. Now, they have 3 memberships. They have I think it's the basics. They have and then like 2 more tiers up.
Right.
But I was thinking about getting the middle tier, and I guess with the middle tier you get some free games and some EA games for free. But the price was like, for the year it wasn't that bad. I think the price was like $74.99 for the whole year, which I guess I'm like, that's not bad. I remember when it used to be like $49.99 for like the whole year, but I guess, you know, inflation.
It used to be free to play online.
It used to be free, but now, you know, of course they have to charge a fee. But I was looking at the games, and both games are now like $69.99, like $70 a pop.
The games?
Yeah.
Oh, for PS5.
So again, I don't know if it's just me, or maybe because I'm getting old, or maybe because I just haven't.
It always goes up
playing
$10.
games. I understand,
Games
but
used to
like
be 50 and then 60, now they're 70.
I feel like it's just a little bit too much for my blood. I'm still gonna get it. You know, I'm still waiting. I'm like, you know what? Let me hold off until my next paycheck. I'll probably end up getting it because I still have to get the membership, and then I have to buy a game.
Right.
And I'm like, but let
That's
me just
what we
wait.
were talking about last time.
About you saying it was being like a little bit too
yes, because it only comes
expensive.
with one controller, and then like you said, you got to keep the membership up, and you know you got to get the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive.
It is. So it is a little expensive. So I've yet to buy anything. I do have the system. It's plugged in. It's ready to go. So as soon as, you know, my next paycheck hits, I'll probably get the subscription, and I'm debating which game I should get first, if it's Call of Duty or God of War. And I've been hearing good things about God of War, which I'm about to ask you actually, since
I'm playing it. It is pretty good.
Tell me a little bit about it. Like, is it worth it? Is the story good?
The story is good. Like the acting is, you know, to see that kind of acting in video game characters, and it is intense. And you start off with the blades and the sword, or not the sword, the axe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I mean, is it worth it?
Is it worth the $70?
If you really like it, like if you really want, like you don't need to experience it. No, you can just, if you want, you can watch my dog Fred play it. He's trying to stream that shit. But if not, you can just watch it online. Like the quality of it is the movie quality. Yeah. But I do like being a gamer. I like to be able to play it.
Yeah. So I probably gonna get Call of Duty first, just because it's an online thing and everybody's on it.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably later hop on to God of War and add that to my list to play.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it.
Oh yeah. Is it? Yeah. But you have it on the PS4, right?
Yeah, but you can play it on the PS5.
You sure?
I think so.
You see, I'm still trying to like get it all together because I'm not sure. And then reading. So the book that I recently picked up, and I'm going to tell you a little story because there's a story to this book. So me and my son, my youngest, we go to Barnes & Noble, and I have a bunch of our cards, our norm cards. So I decided I was going to pass it around, maybe talk to some people. Yeah, the business cards. And then talk to some people while I'm there, you know, anybody that's on the anime section. So I'm walking around and I see this one dude. And I asked the dude, hey, just to start up the conversation, I said, hey, what anime book would you recommend? So he started naming out a couple of animes. So he says first, Dragon Ball. And I told him, oh, I've already, you know, seen it, read it. You know, I'm up to date with Dragon Ball. So he was like, how about Demon Slayer? I was like, I've seen that one too. I've read it. I'm up to date with it. And then he said, how about One Piece? I've seen it. I read it. Now, I don't know if it was my ego, but I felt disrespected. In a sense, like, I know these are good animes he's naming, but I also feel like these are basic animes that, as a regular anime head,
you don't have to. Not everybody has seen Dragon Ball and Demon Slayer,
but that's a staple.
But not.
I'm not saying that everybody has seen it, but for people that know anime, should know about Dragon Ball.
You'll know of it, but you haven't seen it.
But I'm just like, me as I've seen a lot of anime. Now, if you name some like random anime that has never really caught everybody's attention, it's not a staple, it's not something that people constantly talk about, then I could be like, oh, okay, I've never seen it. But as an anime person myself, I've seen a lot of animes. So I can refer to like, yeah, I've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, I've seen Naruto, I've seen Bleach, I've seen the the main ones: One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, Fairy Tail, or partials of it. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of all the animes where I watched it ritually, but maybe I did see a couple of episodes of Fairy Tail, so I can't talk about it, and I would understand when you talk about it, like, oh, Fairy Tail. So that's what I mean. Like, it's a staple of, like, if you're true anime heads, these are anime names that you should know or have some clue of, right?
But this comes back to like what would you suggest to somebody? Like those sound like he named you the best ones because those are the safest ones to
name, right?
Yeah.
So,
He
but I
wasn't trying
thought
to hit
this
you with his list. You just want, you were asking.
yeah,
about
like a
anime.
basic, general list.
Or maybe that's his list. Maybe that's all he knows.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's all his knows. But like, I don't know. I just felt disrespected. I thought that maybe he looked at me in a sense like, oh, this guy is a weeb. He don't know nothing. He's a newbie. He don't know nothing. And then I was wondering, is it because of the way I'm dressed? And I wonder, like, does my appearance, like, I don't know, you can comment down on the YouTube page and just let me know, like, does my appearance shout out?
You can't see this on the podcast.
You can't see this on the podcast, but does my appearance shout out, like, this guy doesn't know anime? Like, if you looked at me from afar, would you say, like, oh, this guy, he don't look like an anime head? Versus, like, if you see Xavier, does Xavier's appearance shout out he knows anime? Is there a certain way you have to dress to know, like, hey, this guy is an anime?
I don't know.
Do I have to walk around with an anime shirt in order to, like...
Were you wearing an anime shirt?
No, I was just wearing a regular shirt. You know, I probably look like a pedestrian walking around. Like, I look like a normal guy walking around. So I was just thinking about that. I was like,
it was your shoes.
But he did. Yeah, is it the shoes?
I don't know.
You know, I was wearing some nice shoes at that time. You know, I was wearing some Nikes, some like, up to date Nikes. So I don't know. But anyway, so he ended up suggesting Kaiju number 8. And so he recommended that book, like you said, the one your friend was reading, Kaiju number 8. And it's basic, but I've been reading online that they're saying that they're going to cancel it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just too basic.
Really?
And people are not liking, like, there's no deep-rooted backstory. There's no, like, twists and turns like these other animes. It's not what's the word?
Revolutionary?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not it. So
irrelevant.
It's just too basic. That's basically what they're saying. It's too basic. And I don't want to get too much like in detail of like what the book consists of far, because I said I've only read volume 1. So I only know like parts of it. But I like it. I'm going to try to get all the books before they cancel it. So that way at least I have a copy of it.
But it'll be incomplete.
It probably will be, because if they cancel it before he even finishes it, it'll probably be incomplete. But it'll be like a little jam to have in my room. Like a book that people thought flopped. I thought it was pretty good. But you can't get it anymore because they're just not making it anymore.
What have you been watching?
I'm watching, I've been watching, nothing concrete right now. No, nothing new. I've been just keeping up with, Bleach, which is getting amazingly good. So you have Bleach, Chainsaw Man, good. And yeah, just those 2 animes, man. Well, just keeping up with that. Nothing new. I know we talked about games with you. What are you reading?
Reading.
Anything new?
Yeah, so I'm still reading Dr. Stone.
Okay.
The stuff that they left off at the anime.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. I thought it was going to kind of go off the rails. They started introducing like money and things like that into the Stone world. Yeah. So I was like, this is kind of goofy. But
and that's what I like about Dr. Stone. It's new in a sense, like, what would the word be if everything collapsed and we had to start from scratch, but still have the knowledge that we have now? But
I like all the science of it.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. That lunch.
That lunch, bro. It's coming up, bro. I'm settling. No, I like all the science of it. I like how funny it is. I like the animation. I like all the characters. I just like a lot about it. But I thought it was gonna like fall off for me a little bit, but no, it's staying pretty steady.
Yeah.
And so that's just what I've been reading. I've been trying to take a break from Chainsaw Man, but
too much boobs and blood and
So I have this thing where if I'm like watching something and I'm like I do it with my food too. So if I'm like watching a show and I really like it and I'm like watching it too fast, I'll like slow down and take some time to like breathe and just think about it and sit with it. Because what I'm watching right now or what I stopped watching or took a break from is Atlanta on Hulu. Donald Glover's show.
Season
4.
4?
Yeah, because it's the last season.
Oh shit! I've only watched season 1 and 2. Still to this day, my favorite part of that show is when he's in jail, and the guy sitting next to him, he's like, "There's a woman, or like a transgender woman."
Yeah,
and he's talking
like,
to her.
"Hey,
girl, how you been?" and all that. He's like, "Oh yeah, I used to fuck with her all the time." And the guy was like, "Bro, that's a fucking dude." Nah, that ain't a dude, my man. This is the guy's side. Why in the hell would they put a woman in the guy's side?
And his face, he's just like, hold
on. yeah. Think about it. And she was like, oh, shit.
That's a good scene.
Man.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm like one episode left. So I'm like trying to savor it, and then I might watch it. Like I might just knock it out this weekend.
Oh, okay. All right, bro. Well,
we're just watching that and trying to follow up or finish my Junji Ito collection.
Yeah. You know what? We probably gotta set up maybe to watch One Piece Red. I know we both haven't watched it yet. We talked about it in the last podcast.
Yeah.
But we haven't watched it yet. So
we should watch it. If it comes out it got high marks. I just am not as caught up with One Piece. So I will watch it. I'm sure I can get like a full movies session in, for it.
Now, I don't know if you
anything
know
that
this,
I need to know, they'll tell me in the beginning half of the movie.
But I don't know if you know this, or maybe you have more information about this, but is every One Piece movie canon? Is it part of the show?
Most of them are not.
Right? It's just like a little side.
Same like Naruto. Like a lot of the Naruto movies are not canon.
No, they're just okay.
The only one that is canon is the last one where he marries Hinata. That one's canon.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, all those other ones are like filler or whatever.
Yeah.
And filler doesn't mean it's not canon. It's just like
not part of the main
non-canonical.
Yeah. Yeah. That word. Canonical.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my man. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Don't want to make this podcast way too long. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and for the folks watching it on YouTube, thank you for watching. All right. And of course, you can definitely follow us on Spotify, Amazon, and Google. And soon we'll be on Apple too. All right. So we're working on that. And you can also follow us on Instagram. We also have Twitter. So check us out. Like our posts. Follow.
Share it with a friend.
Share with everybody you know in this Florida state.
And outside of Florida.
Everywhere.
I was looking at the statistics for the podcast.
Uh-huh.
We have some listeners in France and Spain.
You see that? Yeah, we're getting out there, man. We're becoming international.
But this is because of you. So please, that's how we get to those followers. So just share it with your friends. Anybody who you think likes anime, who would like to hear two dudes talk about anime. And
For sure. And of course, always visit our website, thenorm.com. I'm going to spell it out for you guys. TheNormn.com. That's where you're going to be able to find everything about us, all information, every platform we're on. And of course, main thing on our website is the merch, our clothing, our hoodies, our shirts, our dad hats. If y'all haven't seen it yet, I'm wearing it right now.
It's a nice Hunter dad hat.
Of course, you got to check out my boy's shirt. He's repping. So check us out. Check out everything that we're selling, everything that we're putting out there for you guys. And like I said, we appreciate everything you guys do for us. And thanks again for all the support. And again, don't forget to follow and don't forget to share this with every anime head that you know. And like we say at the end of every episode,
tune in next time for scenes from the next episode of the Hyperbolic Podcast, where Lewis and X.
That's all right, bro. Go ahead. Say it again. So like we say at the end of every episode,
Tune in next time for scenes from the next episode of the Hyperbolic Podcast, where Lewis and X find out which mainstream platform has the best anime selection.
And we're out. Thank you. Follow, subscribe. Deuces.